Welcome to UFC Fights, the ultimate home of UFC breaking news, shocking updates, and every story that sets the MMA universe on fire. Stay tuned because here, the real action begins. UFC Paris live blog, Benoit Saint Denis versus Mauricio Ruffy, a night of fury in France. The Accor Arena in Paris turned into a cauldron of noise, passion, and history as UFC returned to the French capital with one of the most highly anticipated matchups in the lightweight division. Hometown hero Benoit Saint Denis, nicknamed the God of War, walked into the octagon draped in the French flag, greeted by a deafening roar from thousands of supporters. Across from him stood Brazil's Mauricio Ruffy, a sharp and fearless striker hungry to make a statement on enemy territory. This was more than just a fight. It was a showcase of national pride, high stakes in the rankings, and a clash of styles destined to ignite fireworks. For days leading up to the fight, Paris buzzed with anticipation. Posters of Saint Denis lined the streets, and French sports outlets covered every angle of his rise. UFC's arrival in France was still relatively fresh, and having a local warrior headlining meant history was on the line. Fans flew in from all over Europe, filling hotels and bars, making the entire city feel like one giant fight festival. For Saint Denis, it was an opportunity to cement himself as a national sporting icon. For Ruffy, it was a chance to silence thousands of hostile voices and catapult himself into the rankings. Pre-fight atmosphere. From the moment fans began filling the arena, the energy was electric. Every screen inside the venue showed highlights of Saint Denis' previous wars, his relentless pressure, his willingness to take damage, and his reputation for breaking opponents mentally and physically. Ruffy, though less established in UFC, carried the aura of a man who believed he could spoil the party. French chants echoed through the air, a wave of blue, white, and red flags rising high as anticipation built toward the main event. The walkouts painted a clear picture of the stakes. Saint Denis came out with fire in his eyes, his military background reflected in his stoic composure. Ruffy appeared calm, confident, unfazed by the hostile crowd. Both fighters stared each other down during Bruce Buffer's introductions, the tension so thick you could feel it through the screen. The atmosphere was reminiscent of big boxing nights in Paris from decades past, but this was UFC's stage, and it belonged to the French soldier-turned-fighter who had clawed his way into contention. Round 1. The opening horn sounded, and instantly the crowd erupted. Saint Denis moved forward aggressively, throwing probing leg kicks and looking to establish dominance. Ruffy countered with crisp jabs, his timing sharp, his footwork measured. The Frenchman attempted to cut off the cage, forcing exchanges in close quarters. Midway through the round, Saint Denis landed a thudding body kick that drew gasps from the audience. Ruffy responded with a clean right hand down the middle, snapping the head of the hometown hero. The exchanges were fierce, Saint Denis with his relentless forward march, Ruffy with his precision counterstriking. The first 5 minutes ended with both men bloodied, both men energized, and the fans on their feet. Commentators Daniel Cormier and Michael Bisping couldn't hide their excitement, noting that this was the kind of start that lived up to the hype. Round 2. Saint Denis began to implement his grappling game. Shooting for a double leg, he drove Ruffy into the fence, pressing him under the weight of relentless pressure. Ruffy's defense held for the first attempt, but Saint Denis chained it together beautifully, eventually dragging him down. On the mat, the French warrior unleashed elbows and short punches. The crowd screamed with every strike that connected. Ruffy scrambled, fought his way back up, and landed a sharp knee in the clinch. Still, Saint Denis' pressure was suffocating. By the end of the round, it was clear that Ruffy was being forced to fight Saint Denis' fight. The Brazilian's breathing grew heavier, his movement slower, while Saint Denis looked fresh, feeding off the crowd's energy. Round 3. Momentum was all Saint Denis. His pace never slowed, his cardio a weapon. He mixed heavy combinations with relentless clinch work, peppering Ruffy with shots to the body. Ruffy's output began to dwindle, his footwork slowed by the damage from earlier low kicks. Mid-round, Saint Denis landed a crushing left hook that staggered Ruffy. The Brazilian tried to circle away, but Saint Denis swarmed, throwing a barrage of punches. Somehow, Ruffy survived, his heart keeping him in a fight that was slipping away. The crowd, sensing the tide, roared "Benoit, Benoit" with every strike their hero landed. The chants echoed like thunder, fueling the Frenchman to press even harder. Round 4. The finish. The defining moment arrived early in the fourth. Saint Denis measured the distance, feinted low, then unleashed a devastating high kick that crashed flush against Ruffy's temple. The Brazilian wobbled, legs betraying him, eyes glassy. Saint Denis pounced, unleashing ground and pound with surgical brutality. Referee Marc Goddard had no choice but to step in and wave it off. The arena erupted, thousands of fans screaming in unison as Benoit Saint Denis leapt to the top of the cage, draped once again in the French tricolor. Paris had its hero, and the lightweight division had been sent a thunderous message. Post-fight scene. With adrenaline still pumping, Saint Denis addressed the crowd. His voice cracked with emotion as he shouted, "This is for France! This is for my people!" The arena answered with chants that shook the walls. Tears mixed with sweat as he held his flag high. Mauricio Ruffy, ever the sportsman, acknowledged the crowd and paid respect to his opponent. "I gave everything I had tonight, but this was his night. I will come back stronger." His humility earned applause even from the partisan fans. What this win means. This victory cemented Saint Denis as one of the fastest rising contenders in the lightweight division. Analysts pointed out his blend of pressure, grappling, and striking has evolved into a dangerous formula capable of troubling even the division's elite. His cardio and relentless mindset make him a nightmare matchup for many. For Ruffy, despite the loss, the fight showcased his toughness and willingness to stand toe-to-toe with one of the most relentless fighters on the roster. His stock does not fall as much as the record suggests. Fans recognize the courage it took to step into enemy territory and go to war. Reactions across the MMA world. Social media exploded within minutes. Fighters like Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, and even Conor McGregor tweeted praise and warnings about the Frenchman's rise. French sports outlets declared him a national hero. Fans from around the world debated his place in the lightweight hierarchy, with many arguing he deserves a top 5 opponent next. Hashtags like UFC Paris and God of War trended worldwide. Clips of the knockout went viral within minutes, with millions of views flooding in across Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Looking ahead. Saint Denis made it clear in the post-fight press conference, "I want the best. I want top 5. I am here to be champion." His words echoed ambition, his demeanor unshaken. Potential matchups against names like Michael Chandler, Arman Taryukin, or even Charles Oliveira immediately became topics of discussion. UFC President Dana White, visibly impressed, hinted at big plans. "This guy is the real deal. The French fans love him, and we've just scratched the surface of what he can do." The French MMA community is buzzing with the idea of Saint Denis headlining a pay-per-view in Paris in the near future. UFC Paris will be remembered as the night Benoit Saint Denis fully arrived as a legitimate force in the lightweight division. In front of his people, under the brightest lights, he delivered not just a win, but a statement, a violent, passionate declaration that the God of War is here, and he is marching toward the top. Mauricio Ruffy may have fallen short, but his courage and heart will ensure he remains a respected figure. For Saint Denis, however, the future burns bright. Paris crowned its warrior, and the rest of the world is now on notice. Thanks for watching Fights, your ringside seat to every twist, every comeback, and every breaking moment in UFC. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss the next big fight story.